Hey folks, welcome back to another Pokemon Masters video, and a lot of you requested this, and I thought, we'd go over it, right? Just because, yesterday we did a video on the potential, I almost said Fire type, but week 2 Water type legendaries that could appear in the legendary area, since they did mention that we should probably bring a lot of Water types, and we should train up our Water types for the legendary area, right? So today let's go over some of these Water types, right? Which ones are probably... I mean, that's slightly obvious. There's like only 2 decent water type attackers, but there are some other implications that I do want to potentially talk about, right? About that event and water type Pokemon in this game in general, right? So let's first, get to the easy question, which are the water type Pokemon damage dealers that you should train up to fight. Whatever the legendary event is, be it Groudon, Ho-Oh, Moltres, Regirock, whatever, right? The answer is pretty obvious. It's these 2. If you have Christopher Alligator, great, you can use Christopher Alligator. If you have Crash Wake and Floatzel, you can use them as well. Both of these 2 are fantastic water type strikers. Well, Crash Wake is technically a tech type, but it's basically a striker, right? Let's first look at Christopher Alligator. Actually pretty average attack, honestly, for a striker. But its buffs and its Mega Kick is just like, oh my god, 167 power Mega Kick. Insane, right? Also 2x attacks, and then you got 2 sure crits that also sharply raises your speed as well every time you use it. Chris is just a monster. Chris is just great, right? You could use her in like almost every situation where you need a water type, right? Although there are some situations where we probably want to use Floatzel instead, but in most scenarios, Chris should be more than enough. Got Endurance as well, Water Shift, which turns your Mega Kick into a water type move. Again, if you're at max 5 out of 5, that's 200 power. That's only 50 less than a regular unboosted Sig move damage. And dude, keep in mind, you also get 2 sure crits, and then also X attack here as well. Just unfortunate she doesn't have that much base attack as a lot of the other strikers do. But again, it's very, very well compensated with this huge Mega Kick. Which after you use the 2 pick of the paces, which do make the Mega Kick a sure hit, the accuracy does go down to 75, right? Which is slightly problematic. Well, actually pretty problematic, but 2 Mega Kicks are generally enough, assuming where it's co-op and, it's 3 Chris's for Alligators, 2 Mega Kicks from each for Alligator, and almost anything would die, basically. So, not too much to worry about there, and Floatzel, Crash Wake, also an extremely really a good water type striker as well. You guys know me, I am a Crash Wake fan. And it's not, whatever, it's not just because of the joke / meme, whatever, right? Crash Wake is actually really good. So you got pretty average attack stat as well, but you have Dire Hit Plus, which gets you max crit, and Crash, which drastically raises attack, so you can get +6 attack on turn 2, which Crash Awake in the long run is more consistent than Chris and for Alligator, just because Crash Awake you get 100% crit, right? On every single hit you get crit, which in comparison Chris only gets 2 crits. Crash Awake gets unlimited crits, and then you also get +2 attack, which does slightly compensate for the stat gap they have. That's what, 257 attack, 222 attack, so you will get more out of that, right? And also the moves, you have both Water Pulse and Waterfall. You'll mostly be using Waterfall, just because, your physical attack gets +6. Special attack only gets +2 with Crash, right? And also has a small chance of making the target flinch, which also, with Aggravation 1, that's an extra 10% chance of critting, right? I love Racing Rain, which is quick charge move gauge, which isn't that big of a deal since Floatzel actually has really good speed. And also, it's just a 2 gauge move. It's not that big of a deal, right? So very consistent. So Crash Awake is just a more Chris does more damage in the long term, and Crash Awake does better. Chris does better in the short term, and Crash Wake does better in the long term, right? in comparison. So these are both really, really good strikers. The ones that you should probably avoid, who are also strikers. Let's filter. Can we filter this by strike? Yes, there we go. Okay. I guess Cloudsir is not bad either. It's just like there's really no point using Cloudsir if you have Crash or Wake. I mean, you know, Cloudsir, it's a 4-star, slightly harder to get than Crash or Wake. I would assume everyone watching this video has Crash or Wake. Not everyone might have Christopher Alligator. Not everyone might have Seabolt and Cloudsir, but everyone has Crash or Wake. And Crash or Wake is better than Seabolt and Cloudsir anyways, and, you know, in comparison to Chris, different scenarios, right? So Seabolt, Cloudsir, I'm not a huge fan of. Like, sure, you have really good base special attack, but you also it's look, you compare to Chris and Alligator. Seabolt has much more special attack in comparison to, you know, Alligator's physical attack, right? You got basically the same buffs, right? You got X special attack, Chris has X attack, and then Seabolt, Cloudsir, you have a guaranteed crit, and then also heal on the definition of art, and then in comparison, Chris has guaranteed crit, guaranteed hit, and raises speed. Raises speed is better, unless legendary area is something similar to Balvilla, which, you know, somehow your MP HP doesn't carry over, which then HP would be, you know, much more useful, right? So I'm not like completely ruling Cloudsir out, but at the moment, assuming it's just, you know, similar to your regular battles and stuff, which I hope it's not. Hopefully Cloudsir would see use in here, just because Cloudsir just doesn't see use almost anywhere, unfortunately. But hopefully Cloudsir would be useful here. But at the moment, Cloudsir just doesn't seem that useful, and, you know, your moves, your only water type move, right? Water Pulse's 2-gauge move in comparison to Alligator's Mega Kick, it's not even close, right? And also, if you compare it to Crash Wake just dominates that. Unless, like, the opponent's just, like, weak to special water, then I guess Cloudsir would be better. Well, not, I guess Cloudsir would be better. If the opponent just, like, is a physical wall, you can't get, like, any physical attacks to damage it, then sure, you could use Cloudsir. But at the moment, all things being equal, Chris and Crash Wake are definitely better. And then the last one is Baron and Empoleon, which I kind of jokingly ranked Baron and Empoleon in its own tier at, like, the very bottom of my tier list. But it's not without reason. It's really just horrible, unfortunately. It's really good special attack, right? But its moves are just, what are we doing, right? Sharply raises speed, raises crit, so you can't even get guaranteed crit here. You don't have any plus special attacks, and then your two moves, Bubble and Bubble Beam, both are AoE moves, which are, again, assuming this is a co-op thing, right? Which are really bad. it's really bad, unless like it's like a single player thing, and I mean, still, you just don't get, like, you don't get any guaranteed crits at all. The speed is okay. And, you know, your base special attack's not bad. I mean, it's not bad. It's really good, right? You don't have any special attack buffs. You don't have, which, again, you know, special attack buffs that could close the gap on the base stat with a lot of other, or, you know, physical attack buffs, right? With a lot of other strikers, right? And then you're not even getting max crit rate. I guess the upside is you have speed and base damage. That's all Empoleon has. And the downsides are just, like, too large, honestly, unfortunately. You do have Powerflex 5, which really synergizes well with, in theory, synergizes well with the high, or, I mean, okay-ish, I wouldn't say high speed. Actually, never mind, that's actually terrible speed. But you do have the sharply raises your speed, which does help you. You can use that twice, right? But it's only theoretical. If you've ever tried Empoleon ever before, even with Powerflex 5, and with max move gauge, you're still doing potato damage. But something that I do want to mention, if we look back at all our water type Pokemon, it could be possible when this comes around, at the same time we would have a water training event, which would give us synchronous expansions for our free-to-play water type Pokemon, which would be Barry and Empoleon and Misty and Starmie. I like Empoleon. Empoleon's cool, right? A lot of people like Misty and Starmie as well, which, by the way, Misty and Starmie are, like, they are amazing right now in Battle Villa. Misty and Starmie in Battle Villa is just insane. With catches if you can, sharply raises an ally's evasiveness, makes the ally gradually heal itself. That's just a god level move, and also X special defense all. If we get like MP refreshes on this thing, and then like we get like 3, and then in a stage we could just make everyone do this, or just MP refreshes in general, just to even if you're using like once per stage, just so you could keep on using it. Yeah, Misty is a god tier support in Battle. Well, I wouldn't say god tier, like really good, right? So if Misty gets a Synchro expansion, right, with some kind of with some kind of water type training event during the around the time of the legendary area, right? Also has healing hand, which is nice. It would be great. Like even if all it gets is just some stat stat boost bulk wise, and then or speed or whatever, and then you get an MP refresh on catches if you can, and X special defense all, it would be great. Like who knows what they'll give Misty, right? Misty is already really good, and for Battle Villa, again, not good for like anything else at all. So don't unless again legendary arena is gonna be like Battle Villa, then there's aside from that, there's no point using Misty anywhere else. But well, I wouldn't say there's no point. Misty's just not good at all anywhere else except for Battle Villa, which she dominates in. But yeah, who knows what her Synchro might bring, right? If they give her like some kind of like move gauge kind of buffs as well, that would be just phenomenal, right? But yeah, we don't know what Synchro expansion Starmie is gonna get, but again, potentially if they get that would be great. And Barry and Empoleon, these guys, they desperately need a Synchro expansion. They're just so weak. It's kind of sad. Like, and honestly, even if they do get a Synchro expansion, I really don't see how they could, like, because the moves are there. Bubble and Bubble Beam are fundamentally just weak moves. And aside from single player, right? And even in single player, like it's a 2 gauge AoE move. Like even in single player, it's not even that great. It's just they're just fundamental. Like you just can't change their moves, which is the thing with Empoleon, right? So maybe they'll make Empoleon into some kind of like striker / support kind of thing. If they do make Empoleon similar to something like Pikachu, right? If they can make full heal, also heal up some HP, and then give MP refresher for that, that would be very helpful, right? We could get like a Potion Chew 2.0, except also remove status conditions. That would be great, right? Honestly, at this point, I'm just hoping that it turns into like a decent support / striker kind of thing, right? Instead of just going like full on, oh, we're gonna give it a bunch of attack buffs for Bubble Beam, and then it's still gonna do like 80 damage per target, just because just low power and AoE, right? But yeah, hopefully they do also get a Synchro expansion for Empoleon as well around that time. And one last thing I do want to talk about in terms of water types, they did in the trailer show a specific water type, Blastoise, best starter by the way. I'm just kidding. It's my it's my personal favorite. You guys don't have to like it, but I love Blastoise. It's not like objectively the best starter, because that doesn't exist. It's my personal favorite. Anyways, off slight tangent there, but yeah, they could potentially also release Signature Blue and Blastoise around that time as well, because that's kind of what they do, honestly. When Mewtwo came out, they released Grimsley. When Grimsley, which is tailor-made to beat the Mewtwo event, right? When Solgaleo came out, they released Garchomp, which is a godsend for fighting the Solgaleo event, like, or people are just gonna use like Hapu, even though Hapu's not even that good in there. Like you just better use like Torkoal or whatever, right? Instead, but some randos don't know, and they just bring in Hapu or whatever. People playing Clay, right? But yeah, Garchomp. They released Garchomp for Rayquaza, or not Rayquaza. That would be weird. Crap type against a flying type. Garchomp for Solgaleo, and then Lycanroc midday for for Rayquaza, right? Which also is almost tailor-made to defeat that stage, right? So maybe when that whatever, you know, Water Week stage or Legendary Arena comes out, they might release Signasuit Blue and Blastoise, right? And they can make Blastoise just, you know, specifically made to defeat that stage, and they can make it, I don't know, make it just weak to whatever the heck Blastoise does. And if that is the case, then honestly, if that is the case, I'm leaning towards that Legendary Arena Pokemon being Ho-Oh, just because they're in the same trailer. I would assume they'd come in around similar times. You know, they won't. I don't think they would be too far apart if this is the case, right? So who knows, right? Who knows? But yeah, this could also be a possibility, right? And I will be broke trying to pull for him, especially if he comes out with a sync grid, his expanded sync grid. So yeah, basically that's my 2 cents on these water type Pokemon, right? That you guys did ask me to do. So anyways, that's me for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like and enjoy this video, subscribe to the channel for some more Pokemon Masters content. I will be streaming some more Pokemon Mystery Dungeon later today, so check that out if you guys are so inclined to do so. And I'll see you guys in the next one.